The rarity of events like this, obviously people have poured into Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont.
Right, and so Don Kerrigan actually spoke with officials in Jackman, where he is today, just talking about how do you prepare for something like this?
You don't go to Jackman by chance. It's one of the most remote towns in Maine, as close to Quebec City as to Augusta. But there is a good chance a lot of people will be making this trip because of the eclipse.
You look at the map, the line of totality is right over us. We are dead center. As somebody from the Chamber of Commerce said, we are ground zero for the eclipse.
Bill Jarvis is fire chief and EMS director for Jackman and has been planning for the event for more than 3 years. The eclipse will sweep across western and northern Maine. The path of totality, where people will experience full darkness, includes places like Dover-Foxcroft, Millinocket, and Holton, all easier for most people to reach than Jackman. So, why all the excitement here?
We're also right on the center line. We have the longest period of totality because as the shadow moves across the country, heading towards the east, it picks up speed. So as you go east, it's shorter totality.
Jarvis says a lot of Mainers already know Jackman because they've been here fishing, hunting, or snowmobiling. But there's also been publicity, like the Old Farmer's Almanac.
It lists multiple places across the path of the total solar eclipse, such as, Dallas, Texas, and Niagara Falls, places like that. And there's only one listed in Maine, Jackman, Maine.
Local hotels and inns like Bishop's Motel started booking up well over a year ago.
Phones are still ringing. We're turning people away daily, pretty much.
Owner Rick Gord says rooms and rentals in the area are all taken.
I think the whole town's booked, and all the way down to Greenville, the Forks, and what have you, every direction.
Let's put it this way. I've been telling people, I don't know how many people are coming.
And for Jarvis and Somerset County Emergency Management Director Mike Smith, that is the key question.
So we expect more people to be in town than the busiest snowmobile or 4th of July weekend we've ever had. And that is before people start driving up on Monday morning, the day of the eclipse.
This whole area only has about 1,100 residents. So if that swells to 5,000 over the weekend, what about April 8th itself?
That's where I see there to be the biggest issue. I mean, I would roughly guess you might see 400 or 500 cars a day come up 201, from Skowhegan coming up through, and, multiply that by 10, and that's what we're going to look at that day.
Route 201 is the primary road into Jackman, straight up about 80 miles from I-95 through Skowhegan and smaller towns. They've been planning for extra police and rescue, for extra ambulances and medical staff, and for traffic delays.
I have as much a concern, actually more of a concern, with the evening traffic flow, because the eclipse is over at 3:45 or whatever time it is, and I view 5,000 to 10,000 people in this town looking to head south and hit Skowhegan all at one time.
That wouldn't be good.
No.
And in Jackman itself, there are other issues that come with crowds.
Big events that draw a lot of people is what we have called the 3 T's: toilets, trash, traffic.
He thinks they have the first two covered and are prepared for all three. But there is also a big positive piece for local businesses like the Smoke and Barrel restaurant.
We're predicting that it's going to be really busy just by the amount of phone calls that we're getting.
Megan Calkin reminded us it's been a poor winter for snowmobiling, meaning local businesses have suffered. So they need the boost eclipse crowds could bring.
We are staying open straight through, even on days that we would normally take off. So normally we take Sundays and Mondays off, and we're going to stay open so that there's somewhere for everyone to go, hopefully, and that we can, benefit a little bit from it.
But even so, what about food for all those thousands of visitors?
The Jackman Town office will be the emergency operations center for the day, and part of planning involves feeding all those thousands of people expected to come in. There are not enough restaurants and food stores to take care of all of them, so part of the plan is to stage food trucks right here, so somehow there can be enough for everybody to eat.
It's just one of dozens of pieces of the plan Bill Jarvis and others have put together. He thinks they'll be ready.
I'd rather the headline the following day said, Route 201 corridor communities were overprepared for public safety than for the headline to say the next day it was utter chaos.
Now it will be a question of weather, travel choices, and how all the rest of us handle our own planning.